Dad?
It's finally here. It's finally here. I can't believe it. They really tried to be slick, though. They really thought we wouldn't destroy the internet over this, but whoo, okay, let me calm myself down and collect myself for a second, because we are about to get one of the greatest individual pieces of comic book filmmaking this planet has ever seen, and it's gonna be a gory, gooey, disgusting mess. Just what we've been looking for. If you somehow haven't heard but clicked on this video anyway, welcome to the good time, my friends, because Wolverine is officially coming to Deadpool 3, and not just as a cameo. Oh no, my sweet little viewer. It's not just a fight scene. It's a whole damn movie of Deadpool and Wolverine joining forces and causing mayhem. There's so much to unpack, so much to explore, so much to tackle. Where to even begin with this one? I think I know just the spot. So if you'll indulge me for just a second, I'm going to break down how this movie will not only create the best buddy cop movie of all time, but how the Marvel Universe will change forever thanks to these two characters. So grab your unicorns, get your Crocs, and let's talk Deadpool 3.
All the dinosaurs feared the T-Rex.
Deadpool 1 was, in one word, perfect. Is it the best movie ever made? No, it just happens to be the best live adaptation of Deadpool ever made. I remember going to see it with my friends in college, and it was a big deal. All we could talk about was the buildup of the movie, how it almost didn't happen, and how our expectations were so low because we knew the studio was playing with house money, and if it sucked, oh well. But we finally had a real-life Deadpool that fans had pressured a studio into greenlighting, and bam! It was freaking nuts. Nut shots and mass murders and just an all-around good time, which is not a sentence I ever thought I'd put together. It was so different than every other superhero movie out at the time because it felt like it knew it had both no expectations and also all expectations, just because it shouldn't have even existed. It was so authentic to the idea of being itself that it was allowed to be epic and set up more epicness thanks to the lack of guardrails in its way. That's kind of where the idea of Deadpool is at its strongest in my eyes, where there's really not a lot of expectations and he can work in his own bubble away from everything else, and that space grants him a lot of creative freedom as both a character and a storyteller. Now, the interesting thing with Deadpool is that he seems to be Marvel's first true mercenary that fully embodies the code. I know Black Widow and Hawkeye count in their own ways, but they were always saddled by being part of a larger story and limited in, let's say, their graphical interpretations. The Marvel movies needed someone like Deadpool because he brings the unpredictable grit and grounded violence that acts as a much needed palate cleanser to a fantasy world full of gods and magic stones, which is ironic because by the end of Deadpool 3, Wade will likely be a god in his universe. That underground realism goes a long way for telling the stories of characters like Cable, who really shined in Deadpool 2, and was a big reason why Logan worked so unanimously across the medium. There are some characters that thrive in that guardrail-less scripting, and for essentially 3 straight movies, we're getting 3 straight home run swings, but that's the exciting part of this story. I think for Deadpool 3 to really stick the landing, it needs to lean into the off-rails authenticity of Deadpool's strengths as a solo act, while giving viewers a glimpse into a much simpler interpreted Wolverine. Where Logan served as a retrospective character study and a slow burn love letter, Wolverine in Deadpool 3 should be a much less nuanced, almost primal version of the character. With off-the-wall writing and a kick-ass costume, gruesome action scenes could become just an aggressive acceleration into the Wolverine highway that brings the most justice to the character outside of his solo story. We already got the expert take in a story worth telling. Just give us a kick-ass and brutal fucking Wolverine to pair with Wade's carefree attitude, and you're granted to find success. A lot of fans have theorized about Deadpool killing the Fox universe and teaming up with Wolverine to accomplish such a feat as a way of ushering in his origins into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And as cool as that sounds, I think the approach is too easy. And there actually is a longer play available here for Deadpool's actions that could cause a ripple effect in the mainline MCU that would bridge nicely into the start of the Kang Dynasty. You see, at the end of Deadpool 2, we got a glimpse, albeit a small parody, of the time-traveling capabilities within the Foxverse thanks to Warhead fixing the jump pad. And while many have also speculated that a future crossover with Loki could be the way to introduce Deadpool canonically, I actually think this jump pad will be used as the catalyst for eliminating various timelines that Wade encounters, eventually forcing himself into an unlikely crossing of paths with the one and only Wolverine. While the rest of the X-Men are easy targets and the disdain for them has already been established numerous times, this time-hopping murder spree we got a taste of is going to cause a lot of ruptures in the continuums of those universes, and the overlapping timelines could cause their own version of an Incursion event, pitting Deadpool as the sole orchestrator and ultimate answer, and using Wolverine as a way of cleaning up the messes. The Avengers avoided a lot of this messiness because their objectives revolved around the actions of the stones, and that could be returned once they were used, but the imprint of the people that Wade is killing, though oftentimes it is himself, is still an inescapable act in that timeline, regardless of the future outcomes of those characters. If that balance goes unchecked and falls into a cosmic emptiness, the resulting effects of that unbalanced timeline could become irreversible, sending the universe into chaos and bridging it closer to an incursion point along its axis. This very well could ultimately lead into Loki, but that's a topic for another video. So with that idea, being that Wade has already caused some disturbing fluctuations and ultimately joins forces with Wolverine, we now turn Deadpool and Wolverine into two interdimensional janitors, or in other words, interdimensional Terminators. The Rick and Morty of the Fox conundrum and the multiversal nullifiers, which happen to be a concept that would have worked wonders for a cable series. This concoction of personalities with the resulting timelines being in disarray might lead to one of the goriest and most substantial comic book movie plots we've ever seen. Though briefly mentioned, Incursion events are a massive deal in the Marvel Universe, even more so because of the careless mistakes from Strange and unchecked eagerness from Spider-Man, so the foundation for a messy multiversal war has already been well established. If in fact we are destined to see this multiversal war realized in its largest and most defined version, this would invite an open sandbox for Deadpool to do and say and enact whatever mad articulations of his imagination he might have, because the resulting tidal wave of consequences would likely crash into the Marvel timeline, which is such a convenient and brilliant way to introduce his entire backstory. Imagine a movie where Wolverine helps Deadpool wipe out countless heroes and villains as a way of exterminating loose branches in the sacred timeline, but also just happens to initiate the overlapping of both Earth 41633 and Earth 616. Interwoven chaos with an entire backlog of action and storytelling slotting itself directly into the pre-established conflicts of the Avengers and future Illuminati Council of 616 that then aligns with Kang reordering of the TVA, his dealings with Scott Lang and Quantumania, and likely encounters with the Fantastic Four on his way to starting the multiversal war. If the X-Men are coming reborn and reimagined, what's the best way to introduce them? By letting their biggest character kill their past and send Deadpool on his way to the future. This whole video might have just been about how to introduce Deadpool into the main MCU, but there is no denying just how terrifyingly awesome it would be to see Wade become a god of his various timelines whilst working with Wolverine in a fun, albeit incredibly important, slasher flick, and subsequently having those lighthearted interactions that causes nothing but chaos in this new 616 universe. Is it crazy? Absolutely. But would it work? My God, it would be beautiful. I am so fucking excited for this film. I don't even care about the prospects of Wolverine showing up in Secret Wars. I just want to see what kind of nutty shit Logan and Wade can get into together, and I think the comic book movie space needs this movie. From the realism to the gore to the comedy and adventure, this could be the perfect culmination of so much hard work and grassroots empowerment that even got Deadpool towards this point. This is a win for fans, this is a win for Marvel, and a win for Deadpool and Wolverine. And yeah, he's going to be at his most powerful ever, and I need more of that. We all need more of that. And as always, thanks for watching.